Today we're gonna tell you what gear you need for your YouTube videos, and we're starting right now. What is going on? My name is Nick. Welcome to another video. If this is your first time here and you want to learn how to grow your channel, make videos, and all types of other YouTube related stuff, start now by subscribing and clicking the bell so you don't miss anything. Okay, today I'm here with Danielle from the YouTube channel Creator Answers. Danielle, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. This is so bizarre being on this side of that intro.
Yeah, crazy, right? So Danielle, she has two channels actually. She has one called Creator Answers, which we'll put links to her channel in the description. And she has another channel as well called Cutting the Caboose, where she's actually grown quite a bit over the last 12 months or so,
yeah,
right?
Sure, yeah, really.
And basically during that process, and really just being a general gearhead, so to speak, in terms of camera equipment and things like that, she has just a wealth of knowledge when it comes to camera gear and audio gear and all that stuff. So what we're gonna talk about today is we're gonna talk about what she recommends that content creators do in terms of the equipment that they use for their YouTube channels. So when it comes to making videos, what are some key things that content creators need to keep in mind in terms of the equipment itself? Because of course we know that they need a camera.
Yeah.
We know they need microphones.
Yeah.
But what are some important elements that they need to keep in mind when they're making this kind of stuff?
Honestly, keep it simple. So many creators, and myself included, have taken this view that you have to get a DSLR and you have to get all the lights and you have to get tons of gear.
Yeah.
When really what you need is something in your hand to shoot with.
Yeah.
And it's bizarre. Some of the worst videos, the hinkiest videos I've put out have been on a cell phone. And yet their views have been through the roof.
Crazy how that works, right?
And I just, these are rubbish. I didn't script them, I didn't prep them, the sound was poor, the video was poor, but it was in my hand and I shot something that was immediate and it was great. It just took off. So in fact, out of my 10 biggest videos, 6 were on a cell phone because they were immediate and intimate and right there at that moment, which you can't script. If you're getting an event, the best camera is the one that you've got on you.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you've got the 10 grand of a DSLR at home and you're out and there's a story, it doesn't matter how good your camera in the house is.
Because it's at home, right? Yeah, sure.
And the other thing is that, and I'm using the show at both at VidCon.
Yeah, VidCon 2018 is where we're at right now, and you're actually using a camcorder.
Yeah, as a great example. I'm seeing people rocking around with expensive DSLRs, with big lenses, with shotgun mics on top, and these things weigh a ton. They burn through batteries. They can't record for long.
Yeah, like this as an example. Like I think I get maybe 20 minutes of record time. Yeah. Maybe 30 minutes of record time maximum before the battery on this camera dies out.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. I'm running a camcorder, which I can't use a camcorder. Everyone knows you've got to use a Canon, right? You've got to use a DSLR. I've got a camcorder on a stick.
But it works. Like I've seen the image quality on it. I mean, it looks fantastic.
This is better than any DSLR you're going to carry around because you're going to get fatigued carrying a DSLR.
Yeah. So when it comes to actually buying this equipment, like what are some key factors that content creators need to keep in mind? Like as an example, like with this, right? Like we had the option to go shoot over there by the window, but we were able to come back here, and because of the lens that I have on there, it allowed me to open it up so that allowed more light to come into the camera and things like that, so we could still make it look okay.
Yeah.
So what are some really very important factors that people need to keep in mind when it comes to actually buying a gear? I'm looking for a camera. What are some really important things I need to keep in mind in terms of flexibility and things like that?
Well, the point, so it's a good example. Until you understand what you just said, don't buy a camera.
Great.
So until you know why you need, if things like aperture and focal depth and resolution and sensor size, if that means nothing to you, then don't buy a camera where that's an important statistic.
Sure. But I can tell you this, she actually has a video on sensors, and she has videos on all the stuff that she just mentioned, so you're definitely going to want to go check that out.
Thanks. But it's true. Yeah. Again, people will jump in, because if you ask 100 YouTubers what camera to buy,
100 different answers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Although, that said, most of them probably say a Canon, even though they've no idea why they're going to say a Canon. Oh, everyone has a Canon. It must be a Canon.
Sure.
But they'll tell you different Canons, and some will say an M50, some will say a Canon camcorder. These are entirely different cameras, but they'll say a brand, which is great for Canon, obviously.
Oh yeah, sure.
So understand why that tech is important before you go and buy it. So many people don't. They'll say something like they want a soft background.
Yeah.
And that's if you have on your phone.
Sure. Now, what about audio? Because audio is extremely important, and like right now I'm using a shotgun mic on top of the camera. She's wired up right here with a lavalier mic. She's rolling around with a Rode interview mic, newscaster I think that's called. So what about microphones? Like, what are some things they need to keep in mind in terms of the surroundings, the settings that they're in when it comes to choosing a good microphone for their YouTube?
So, the most important thing with a microphone is what do you want to use it for? And the second most important thing for almost every scenario is get the microphone close.
Okay.
So you can get away with a very, very cheap microphone as long as you're close, and you can get the most expensive microphone in the world, but if it's 10 feet, 20 feet away from you, it'll sound garbage.
Sure.
An easy, quick win is a lavalier microphone and a mobile phone.
Okay.
It's cheap. It's, $100 will buy you a setup that'll cover all that. Shotgun mics are terrific. We're using one right here, but there's this myth that a shotgun mic like reaches out of the thing and sucks the sound in. It doesn't. All a shotgun is going to do is help reject what's happening in the background. Like, I don't know if you can hear this, but right now there's quite a big crowd over there. The shotgun mic will do a fairly good job of blocking it from that direction. But because that sound's bouncing off the wall behind us,
still gonna get it.
You're probably gonna get it on the soundtrack.
Yeah, sure. So when it comes to recording in a loud environment, what do you recommend for that?
Close.
Close.
I mean, close applies to almost everything with audio. The term is called presence. If you have a very present sound, and if you hold, and you can do this yourself, if you hold a microphone very close, or if you put a bucket over your head or something, you're gonna get that no echo, present sound. That's where you want to start, because it's easy to add an effect of background noise if you want that slight room effect, but it's very hard to take a room effect and make it go away. So close, always close, and then work from there. Unless you're recording sound effects, so B-roll or something like that, then that's fine. You want some atmosphere. But for your voice, because when you're having a conversation with somebody, you're sitting about this close. What you aren't doing is having a conversation with somebody that's 20 feet away. And yet if you're recording that, it will sound like the person on your recording is 20 feet away from the camera.
So unless you're doing that for effect, then that's definitely something that you don't want to do. So with audio, like you have like dynamic microphones, you have condenser microphones. For like a general range microphone for YouTubers, because you know how it is, like, sometimes you're shooting in a room, sometimes you're shooting in an office, sometimes you're shooting at events like this. What do you recommend that people keep in mind when it comes to audio for just like a general all-around microphone for something that will get them through most situations, to where, of course, it might not be perfect, but it'll be a lot better than using just one type of microphone?
So I would say don't worry about terms like condenser and dynamic and XLR and omnidirectional and pickup patterns. That's really useful to know when you're buying your second and your third mic. But when you're just getting started, go with the pack. So pick up something like the Boya or the Rode SmartLav, because everybody else uses those and they're right. This is the Zoom, but get a lav first before anything else.
Yeah, and they're cheap.
They're cheap.
Like to improve your audio, like a $20 microphone can make a world of difference in what your audio sounds like. And the Boya that you're talking about, the BY M1, the BY M1 is a great place to start. The Rode SmartLav, I think that's under $100 as well.
Yeah, and it plugs into your phone.
And it plugs right into your phone, and that's another thing that you can do with your audio as well. Is you can say, okay, well, I'm gonna have a lavalier mic, and I'm going to plug that lavalier mic into my phone, and then I'm actually going to sync it up later with the video footage when I actually go to edit the video. So you can also do things like that to make your audio sound a lot better.
Absolutely. The only thing I would say with that is it does add a level of complexity, because you're separating your audio from your video. So if you want to keep it really simple and perhaps sacrifice a little sound quality, then maybe something like a shotgun on your camera. But bear that in mind, that you're going to get ambient echo you may not want. So you've got to bring the noise level of your room down and keep the microphone a little closer. So
kind of like what you're hearing right now.
Exactly.
Yeah, like what you're hearing right now, like this is the example of the difference. And what like her voice right here, what you're saying right now.
So this is, in fact, you can do this in editing.
Yeah, for sure.
So this is what we sound like using the lavalier. So we're present, we're close. There's a lack of background noise. And you switch over to the shotgun mic.
Yeah, and it's a much bigger difference. So that's a great example of the difference that you can get from using different types of microphones, and why it's important to think about what it is, what type of content it is that you're wanting to make, what type of situations are you going to be in when you are making videos, and what microphone is going to be best for you in terms of shotgun mic, lavalier, and things like that to make your stuff sound better. So Danielle, first I want to say thank you so much for coming on the channel. It's awesome to have you on the channel finally after all this time. Awesome to meet you in person. Where can we find out more about you?
So there's my tech channel, which is Creator Answers, which is literally this sort of content.
Yeah.
And if you want to find out more about me, Cutting the Caboose, which is my video blog and a bit of a lifestyle channel. That's kind of a grab bag.
Yeah.
So,
but it's working, you know, like
yeah.
you know, like it's good. It's a
long
successful
hill,
channel.
but it's getting there.
Sure, right. It's a successful channel, and basically what she's done is she's taken her knowledge of putting everything together for that channel. And now she's starting to share with the community and share this type of information in terms of things that will help you make better videos and learn how to do all this stuff a little bit better. So we'll put links to her down in the description. Of course, there'll be a card at the top of the screen, and there'll be a link to her in the end screen as well. So make sure that you head over and check her channel out right now. And if you want to learn more about growing your channel, making videos, and all types of other YouTube related stuff, start now by hitting the round subscribe icon so you don't miss anything.
Thanks, the guy.
Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.